The Book of the Damned, by Charles Hoyfort, Chapter 5d. I have no data other than the mere suggestion of the Amherst object of bags or barrels, but my notion is that bags and barrels from a wreck on one of this Earth's oceans would, by the time they reached the bottom, no longer be recognizable as bags or barrels. That, if we can have data of the fall of fibrous material that may have been cloth or paper or wood, we shall be satisfactory and grotesque enough. Proceedings of the Royal Irish Academy, Volume 1, page 379. In the year 1686, some workmen, who had been fetching water from a pond, 7 German miles from Memel, on returning to their work, after dinner, during which there had been a snowstorm, found the flat ground around the pond covered with a coal-black, leafy mass, and a person who lived near said he had seen it fall like flakes with the snow. Some of these flake-like formations were as large as a tabletop. The mass was damp and smelt disagreeably, like rotten seaweed, but, when dried, the smell went off. It tore fibrously like paper. Classic explanation. Up from one place, and down in another. But what went up, from one place, in a whirlwind? Of course, our intermediatist acceptance is that had this been the strangest substance conceivable, from a strangest other world that could be thought of, somewhere upon this earth there must be a substance similar to it, or from which it would, at least subjectively, or according to description, not be easily distinguishable. Or that everything in New York City is only another degree or aspect of something, or combination of things, in a village of Central Africa. The novel is a challenge to vulgarization. Write something that looks new to you. Someone will point out that the thrice accursed Greeks said it long ago. Existence is appetite. The gnaw of being, the one attempt of all things to assimilate all other things, if they have not surrendered and submitted to some higher attempt. It was cosmic that these scientists, who had surrendered to and submitted to the scientific system, should, consistently with the principles of the system, attempt to assimilate the substance that fell at Memel with some known terrestrial product. At the meeting of the Royal Irish Academy it was brought out that there is a substance, of rather rare occurrence, that has been known to form in thin sheets upon marshland. It looks like greenish felt. The substance of Memel. Damp, coal-black, leafy mass. But, if broken up, the marsh substance is flake-like, and it tears fibrously. An elephant can be identified as a sunflower. Both have long stems. A camel is indistinguishable from a peanut, if only their humps be considered. Trouble with this book is that we'll end up a lot of intellectual ruse. We'll be incapable of being astonished with anything. We knew, to start with, that science and imbecility are continuous. Nevertheless, so many expressions of the merging point are at first startling. We did think that Professor Hitchcock's performance in identifying the Amherst phenomenon as a fungus was rather notable as scientific vaudeville, if we acquit him of the charge of seriousness, or that, in a place where fungi are so common that, before a given evening 2 of them sprang up, only he, a stranger in this very fungiferous place, knew of fungus when he saw something like a fungus, if we disregard its quick liquefaction, for instance. It was only a monologue, however. Now we have an all-star cast. And they are not only Irish, they are Royal Irish. The Royal Irishman excluded coal-blackness, and included fibrousness. So then that this substance was marsh paper, which had been raised into the air by storms of wind, and had again fallen,